A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, two white guys were arrogant enough to start their own podcast. How original of them. One podcast that has achieved mild success, sort of. That podcast went on to be known as the Box Office Dynasty. And we are those arrogant white guys. I'm Josh.
And I think podcast equipment should be more expensive. And I'm Jack also.
And that's why we're trying to get to 10K followers, so we can get better podcast equipment to continue being arrogant white guys. Welcome back, everybody.
That was really good. You had a
Thank
script
you.
written down and everything?
Well, most weeks we're just, man. I went to go get lunch today. Obviously, I'm off for Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day, by the way, everybody. I know this comes out on Wednesday, but we're recording this on Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day to everybody. Thank you to everyone who serves in the military for this country. Obviously, that is what it's about. And even more importantly, the extra day off from work. Thank you to our bosses for all you do for us. So, no, but anyway, I was going out to get lunch, and I was thinking about it. I was like, we've gotten the feedback about how, like, oh, it's a little boring to just be like, welcome to the Box Office Dynasty. I was like, well, we are doing a Star Wars episode today.
Star Wars,
fun.
dude.
We are not two arrogant white guys.
We are, and it's Star Wars in 2026, baby. We've been doing this podcast for a year. We have not had to talk about a Star Wars movie yet. So now it's time.
Yeah, even though we have talked about plenty of Star Wars on this podcast, including a couple fucking episodes ago. But yeah, you're right. The first movie. How you doing on this Memorial Day, Jack?
I'm doing good. I was supposed to work today. Then last minute they were like, it's so shitty out. Let's talk about the weather real quick. It's really shitty. The weather sucks.
Really? Not here? It's nice
It just cleared up. It was raining all day, and it just cleared up like an hour ago. But I was supposed to work today, and then I don't have to. They were like, you know what? Shitty. No one's going to come anyway. It's whatever. So pretty sweet. How about you? How you doing?
I kind of fucking feel like shit today. Like, I don't know.
Sick?
Yeah.
Dude,
no.
I'm usually sick.
Mental health. Why don't I get into a therapy session real quick?
Yeah, what's wrong? What's happening? Tell me about your
We just lie on the couch. Yeah. When I was a little arrogant boy.
You sound like Kingpin. When I was a boy,
I beat my father to death with a hammer.
Dude, I gotta check on your dad real quick. Hold
on. No one call Father Protective Services. Yeah, no, I'm okay. It's nothing too bad. Just a little bit of like a sore throat, just kind of feeling blah.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, I know. I started to feel it last night, and I was like, oh no. Like, it's that, like, the calm before the storm,
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, here it comes. Yeah, whatever you have been tangoing with for the last week plus, I think, made its way over to me.
Well, it's just been allergies for me. I haven't.
No, but you were sick
a week before I saw you. Actually, I got rid of it like 5 days before I saw you, like less than a week.
I don't know.
Maybe it transferred. I doubt it though, because I saw you a week ago.
I was just trying to throw you under the bus.
Don't make me the bad guy. Don't make me the villain. When I was a boy, don't make me that guy.
When Jack was a boy, he gave me an illness, and now my throat hurts.
Yeah, dude. We don't be joking about illnesses on here. We don't know what's going on right now. Who knows?
Dude, maybe I have the hantavirus. It's possible.
There's a chance that your house should be nuked right now if you do.
I forgot to tell you, I'm actually on a cruise ship in Argentina.
Actually, vacation. No, they went to like the Canary Islands or some shit.
I thought they also went down to like Argentina because that's where they like the way that the hantavirus got on that ship was apparently 2 people were bird watching in a landfill.
As long as they stay the fuck away from here. Whatever.
Well, apparently
like,
2 of them, 2 of the people from the cruise ship came back to Jersey. Now I got the hantavirus.
And they would be from Jersey, dude. They would be. You fucking sickos. That's
because we got everything here. We got everything,
including every
got
disease.
Hantavirus. What does Long Island have? Closed museums?
Yeah, today.
All right, why don't we get into this week's episode? We got a great one for you guys that we've already been teasing a bit with Star Wars. But first, we'll have some news nuggets. We're going to go over the results of the 79th Cannes Film Festival Awards. Always a blast. This is the second year in a row we're covering that. It's obviously Jack's favorite thing we ever do. We're gonna
I have no interest whatsoever.
We got
That's
the
fine.
box office numbers, and then we're gonna review the first Star Wars film in 7 years, The Mandalorian and Grogu. So we're gonna go all through that. Then I'm gonna give a quick review of the lesser-known film out this weekend, I Love Boosters, which is actually the first Boots Riley film in like 8 years. So a lot of films this weekend that we got are just the returns of franchises or directors who have long been dormant. So that's exciting. And then we'll end it up with talking about the final season of The Boys. So we got a hell of an episode, and it's going to be exciting.
It's hefty. It's heavy. I got a lot to say about a lot of things.
Jack, we know that you are opinionated. The only person more opinionated than you is me.
Yeah, the only person more wrong than me is you. So there you
we'll
go.
find out today. It's going to be like a boxing match, I feel like, during Mandalorian and Grogu.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
I think it's going to be fun to see who gets rage baited first. Everyone now put their money on who's going to get rage baited first, Jack or I. I'm going to guess
you
me.
are. Yeah. You are based on what I'm going to say.
I'm going to get I think I'm going to get so rage baited during that segment today that we might not even get to Boosters and The Boys. It might just fucking end there.
Yeah, I think the podcast might end there.
Welcome to the final episode of the Box Office Dynasty, folks.
It is possible. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, I mean, with this Hantavirus and Mandalorian and Grogu, who knows?
Yeah. But I got a news nugget today because I only got one, so I think I'll start off. Is that all right?
Fine. Sure.
I got one, and then I'll let you finish off. I just wanted to say, Invincible fans, you and I fucking love that show. Aaron Paul is returning as Powerplex.
Oh!
He posted on Instagram a picture of the script, and on the front it said Invincible, and he said, I'm back. No idea why. It was kind of a meme about why he left. It was because he said the character was too like traumatic for him to play, which is crazy.
Right, because he's literally Jesse in Breaking Bad. How's Powerplex more traumatic?
He's voicing Powerplex for like a couple episodes, and he's playing live action Jesse for 5 full seasons, but that wasn't enough. I don't know, but he's back. He confirmed he's returning, so I think that's pretty cool because it just would have been weird. I'm sure Powerplex only returns a couple more times. I can't say him being a huge character, but the voice, he has such a distinct voice that it would have thrown me off a little bit, so I'm glad Aaron Paul is returning to Invincible.
Robert Kirkman must have like held a fucking gun to his head to get him to fucking come back.
Talk about traumatic? You want to talk about fucking traumatic?
Yeah, right? Oh,
how about Aaron Paul is now traumatized?
That's crazy. Yeah, he's method acting. That's what he's doing. Method voice acting, I guess. All right. Well, I don't have that many news nuggets either. I just have a couple as I'm lagging out here a little bit. Maybe it's this new room. This didn't happen before I was in this room.
Maybe, you know what I do? Sometimes, like, I've found this out at work when the door is open, the Wi-Fi like escapes the house, and I'm not even joking. Like the Wi-Fi can go through physical barriers. So maybe if you cracked your door open a little bit, the Wi-Fi would be able to get into the room.
Like that?
Yeah, maybe. Like I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but when I googled it, it said it was.
I don't know. I mean, Google has that AI shit now, so who knows what's
You already stopped bugging, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you know what? I can't really argue with science, I guess.
Holy shit! I'm leaving this in the episode, by the way. We just
science. We're helping the folks at home out. If you are doing your own podcast and you start lagging because you moved into a new room or something, I don't know.
Wi-Fi goes through physical barriers.
Okay, you know what? I mean, I can't argue with results. I can argue, but not with results. So, moving on to my couple of news nuggets. The first one, real quick. Matt Damon is in talks to star in the Daniels' next film, which is expected to release in theaters on November 19th, 2027. So originally Ryan Gosling was signed on for this, and then like a week later it was like, okay, never mind, Gosling is out.
Yeah.
And now Matt Damon is looking like he might be taking over as the lead in that movie.
I'm perfectly happy with that. Honestly, I was excited for Ryan Gosling, very disappointed that he wasn't gonna do it, but Matt Damon's a great if you're gonna do someone else, Matt Damon. I'm down for that.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. I think he's a great actor. Obviously, I'm excited to see this collaboration with the Daniels. Your theory is already proven wrong, by the way.
I realized that. I
Yeah,
thought it was really gonna work.
it did work for a minute. I don't know. Maybe it's just this spot in the house. All right, now it's clear. Every time I start talking about it,
It's
it
so
stops.
it just knows it's like you can't talk about it.
Maybe the key is for the whole episode to just be about my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I love talking about Wi-Fi. It's like it's the most interesting topic.
Is this? I swear, the second I started talking about Matt Damon, it started up again, and now
Yeah, it
it's
did.
just.
And we're still talking about Wi-Fi, and it has not bugged out.
And it has not bugged out. Let's try. Let me move on to the next news nugget. It's the only other one I have. Let's see if it starts bugging out. The series finale of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert drew 6.74 million viewers, which made it the most watched weeknight episode in that show's history. This is a sharp increase from the show's 2026 quarter one average, which was 2.69 million, and it was above the premiere of the show back in September of 2015. So it's the most watched episode, though, in the show's history is still the post-Super Bowl broadcast back in 2016, which had over 20.5 million viewers. This was a really cool finale. I don't really watch late night, but I did tune in just to see how they would wrap things up. And it was really cool because Stephen Colbert had Paul McCartney as his final guest.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And obviously, The Late Show took place, it was in the Ed Sullivan Theater. And so Paul McCartney came back to perform in the Ed Sullivan Theater 62 years after the Beatles first appeared there on the Ed Sullivan Show. So that was a really cool way to bookend that theater's history and that show. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Yeah, he was hyping up his final guest, and Paul McCartney, no one was disappointed, I feel like.
No, and what's funny is I think it's funny because there's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, is he going to have the Pope on? Because he's like a devout Christian, a devout Catholic, Colbert. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of difficult when you're like, oh, who's going to be this big final guest? Like who's big enough to warrant that kind of, that kind of expectation, that excitement. And I think Paul McCartney certainly warrants that expectation, that excitement.
Do you think if Paul McCartney wasn't just on SNL, it would have been even a bigger surprise?
That's possible because everyone knows he was in New York, obviously.
And people would have been like, I haven't seen him in a while, but they just saw him on SNL. Right.
So that's an interesting point, but you're probably right. But I don't think that necessarily takes away just from the significance of having a Beatle perform at the Ed Sullivan Theater 62 years later after the famous first performance. The first time the Beatles ever performed in the United States, which was in the Ed Sullivan Theater on the Ed Sullivan Show. So I thought that was a really cool kind of, like I said, just bookend to that theater's history.
Would have been more surprising if they got John Lennon.
That would have been one of the biggest moments in television history, I think, if they were able to figure that one out.
Surprise.
I think Colbert would have been brought back on the air if that happened. I don't think CBS would say, shit, we got to keep this guy around.
Surprise. Yeah, that would have been crazy.
All right, so that's all I got. We're powering through my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to look, but listen, most people are audio listeners. So if the clips are fucked, it is what it is. Maybe they just look at my face while you're talking.
Well, the one clip was the one clip. Yeah, just you have to interpret what I'm saying for me. The one clip was fucked, and then the others were fine. And last week's episode, when this happened, I rebooted my Wi-Fi, and then everything was fine. I did that preemptively this time. But as the episode went on, it wasn't a problem anymore anyway. So I'm just going to try and power through.
That clip was right before you rebooted. It was once you were done talking about everything, you were like, this is bad, I got to reboot.
Yeah.
So every other clip was after that. That clip was before that.
And once again, once I'm talking about it, it stops. It's getting kind of that's kind of why I keep bringing it up, because I'm like, all right, if I say it, it'll stop.
We'll bring it up every 5 minutes. The listeners will love that. And that'll be the episode.
You know what we haven't talked about yet? Josh's Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, those are the news nuggets. I have a quasi news nugget, and that is we are going to quickly just go through the results, and not all of the results, but the main results of the 79th Cannes Film Festival Awards. This is really the kind of unofficial slash official, depending on how you want to look at it, start to the award season. So that's why, like, you look at these winners and you look at the previous years, and you do see that not all, but some of these films, they end up going on to be big contenders in the Oscars. So it's kind of a fun little way to highlight ahead of time, like, ooh, like, all right, this is what, this is where these films are at. So just going to go through the big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prizes. There's more than that, but just the big prizes is all that really matters. I'll start with Best Actor. And I'm going to say a lot of these ended up being surprises. Best Actor didn't go to Sebastian Stan as predicted. It was a tie between Emmanuel Macchia and Valentin Campane. I apologize if I'm saying any of these names wrong, for a film called Coward. So they win Best Actor.
Howard.
Yeah. I want to preface for you, Jack, and for everybody listening at home, because if you're watching, you probably can't see me anyway. That Hollywood largely sat out of the festival this year, whereas there usually are Hollywood entries, big studio films. They sat out largely this year. So it was kind of considered a bit of a weaker competition.
I gotcha. Okay. So, well, I mean, you're talking Sebastian Stan, you're saying he wasn't, but for that Fjord movie, right?
Yes.
That's got some big legs. So, even without Hollywood, these are some bangers that apparently people love.
Right, for sure. So, moving on, Best Actress was also a tie. I don't know much of the history of these, so I don't know, like if there was a lot of ties in the Cannes Film Festival necessarily.
Okay.
But Best Actress was a tie between Virginia Elfria and Tao Okamo for All of a Sudden. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm definitely saying these names wrong. I really do apologize, but
yeah, 100%. But you're doing better than I would. So
yeah,
keep going.
For the film All of a Sudden. So that is the Best Actress winners. We'll see. And I looked back at the last few years, Jack. Literally, I just went at the last 3 years, and actually, the actors and actresses don't always translate from the Cannes Film Festival to the Oscars the way that the top prizes do. But last year, Wagner Moura won Best Actor for The Secret Agent at the Cannes Film Festival and went on to be a big competitor all the way to the Oscars. So that's interesting. Anyway, Best Director, again, a tie between Javier Calvo and Javier Ambrosi for La Bola Negra and Pavel Pawlikowski for Fatherland, which is that new Sandra Hüller film that people are talking about. She was actually expected to win Best Actress for this film. She didn't win either. So it didn't go to the biggest names this year in Hüller and Sebastian Stan. But the film she's in is one of the ones that ties for Best Director. Moving on to the top 3 prizes, as I've said last year, the Cannes Film Festival, you have the Palme d'Or, the Grand Prix, and the Jury Prize. So from 1 to 3, I'll go 3 to 1, obviously. Third place, the Grand Prize, the Jury Prize, went to The Dreamed Adventure, directed by Valeska Griesbach. A little bit of a surprise from what I gathered from people who were, with connections or sources within the panel. We're not necessarily expecting this to be a big hit, but it does come away with the Jury Prize. The Grand Prix, the second place film, is Minotaur, directed by Andre. Here we go. Directed by Andre.
Shout out Andre.
Andre Z. And the Palme d'Or this year, the big cojones goes to Fjord, directed by Christian Mungo, starring Sebastian Stan and Renate Reinsve. This was probably the big film of the Cannes Film Festival that everyone was looking forward to. It takes home the big prize. And now, just to wrap up this segment, Neon has now distributed the Palme d'Or winner at the Cannes Film Festival for 7 consecutive years. This is one of the craziest runs that a studio could ever be on. And of the films that it distributed that won the Palme d'Or, Parasite, Titane, Triangle of Sadness, Anatomy of a Fall, Honora, It Was Just an Accident, and now Fjord. Two of those went on to be Best Picture winners.
Damn, they
with
dominate.
with two other ones going on to be Best Picture nominees as well. So I do think that while some of these movies and winners that I just stated aren't going to come, back to be big competitors when the award season really kicks into high gear, but I wanted to talk about Fjord, just winning the Palme d'Or there, because I think we're going to hear about that one and talk about that one a lot come the fall when it gets a wide release, and then in the winter when we're talking Oscars.
Even months ago, I was hearing Sebastian Stan is going to win for Fjord, and Fjord probably there's a chance it wins best picture.
It certainly could be a nominee. I certainly think it's in the front running position for best international feature now at the Oscars.
And this only proves it. So
because if you look last year, the Palme d'Or was just an accident. That was not nominated for the best picture. It was an Oscar contender in international feature. The Grand Prix was Sentimental Value, which was a big contender at the Oscars last year. And then the year before that, Honora, which won the Palme d'Or, it went all the way to winning Best Picture Oscar night. It was this big sweeper.
It won everything.
All year long. And even the year before that, I said I only went back 3 years. Palme d'Or, Anatomy of a Fall, Grand Prix was The Zone of Interest, and those were two Best Picture nominees that year. So while it may not be the most interesting to you, Jack, or to people at home, I understand. Hell, it's not like I'm huge into the Cannes Film Festival. I just think it's interesting to take a few minutes and look at the films that come out of that on top, because they could be big indicators of the players in the Oscars later this year.
Sure.
So,
yeah, okay.
Anyway, Wi-Fi seems to have prevailed for the moment.
Yeah,
knock on wood, fingers crossed.
You know what?
Maybe we just gotta keep talking about Fjord.
Yeah,
bald Sebastian Stan.
Him, dude. He's doing crazy stuff to look crazy.
I was gonna say they're taking away more and more of his face. First, they take away his hair for Fjord, and now they're taking away half of his face for the Batman Part 2.
Dude, he was Trump. They gave him all the prosthetics. He did a better man, or no? Wait, that's the monkey movie. Wait, what's the one that he did? Wait.
Oh shit.
A Different Man.
A Different Man.
Yeah, dude, when he had all this, like, they are really just trying to not make us not look at Sebastian Stan the way we used to.
I wanna ask you something real quick while we're on the topic of Fjord and Sebastian Stan and the Cannes Film Festival. Do you think Sebastian Stan has the most interesting filmography out of any Marvel actor? And if not him, or like obviously he's up there, but who do you think who are some of the actors that you'd say have the most interesting filmographies outside of Marvel?
Well, it's hard because Marvel has gotten some great actors to not even play like significant characters.
Yeah,
like look at Anthony Hopkins plays Odin.
You're right.
You know what I
mean? Let me specify like main Marvel actors, like people who have been in like multiple films,
like Avengers,
parts of the franchise. Yeah, I mean, well, Bucky isn't really an Avenger, but like
he's a new Avenger. He's a new Avenger.
Yeah, Avengers with the Z, I guess. But like, I just mean like you're right, because Anthony, Harrison Ford, you know what I mean. But no, I mean like the main actors, the faces of these franchises, in Marvel over the last 15 years. Who do you think outside of their Marvel films has the most? Because like you look at Sebastian Stan, you just named a bunch. You're right. He had A Different Man. He had The Apprentice. Both were really interesting performances by him. He's doing the Batman Part 2, which is really cool. He's got this new, festival-winning picture in Fjord.
He played a villain in the horror movie Fresh.
Yeah, that's a great pull. So like he's got a good filmography outside of Marvel as well.
Let me think. Give me a second. I mean, if Florence Pugh was in more, she could be up there. She just doesn't have enough, but what she has is interesting enough with like Midsummer and like apparently the shitty hairstyles movie, whatever. It might be Sebastian Stan. I don't know. Do you have anybody? Oh, I don't know.
Maybe Scarlett Johansson. I mean, because her range, her like filmography's range goes from blockbusters to indies to IPs to just all sorts of stuff. She works with like different types of filmmakers. She's worked with, Wes Anderson, but she's also going to be in the Batman. Like, I just think that Scarlett Johansson, she's going to be in a horror film with Mike Flanagan. Like, I just feel like her range with her choices is so vast. You know, she does the Jurassic World movie.
I agree. But you know who else I want to say, which you're going to hate, but just hear me out. It's interesting because of how many franchises he can acquire, is Chris Pratt. He is in Jurassic World. He's the face of Jurassic World. He is Star-Lord, obviously. He's the Lego movie. He's the voice of the Lego movie. He's the voice of Garfield. He's the voice of Mario. He's the voice of probably a million other iconic characters in the future. He is Parks and Rec. Like, he somehow just manages to weasel his way everywhere.
See, I half agree because I don't think Chris Pratt has as much of the wide range in his choice of work because he's more just IP, whereas Sebastian Stan and Scarlett Johansson.
You're right, but it's just so cool that he has all that.
They do IP. I agree, yeah. Like, they do IP and they do, like, indie cinema and horror and different things. He just has a wide range of IP, which is really interesting, of course. I don't disagree with that part.
Samuel L. Jackson, brother.
Yeah, of course, Samuel L. Jackson, he does... You know, Tarantino, Star Wars, Marvel. He's the voice of Xander.
But
he's got Shaft.
So, but if we're talking main, then yeah, it's probably Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan, who we'll both see in the Batman Part 2.
That is true. So congratulations to Sebastian Stan, Renata Reinsville, and Fjord for winning the Palme d'Or, and I'm excited to see that movie later this year.
Me too.
Whenever it comes out. So, all right, that is the 79th Cannes Film Festival Awards. Now we're going to move on to the weekly box office numbers. I almost said Bible study. There is no Bible study. How sad.
That is sad.
Yeah, we'll be back soon. Don't worry. So these are the box office numbers for Memorial Day weekend. I am only reading the 3-day weekend numbers. The 4-day weekend, it gets a little confusing. These are the box office numbers for Memorial Day weekend, May 22nd through the 24th in the year of our Lord 2026.
Shout out to the Lord.
Yeah, real one. The Lord, a real one. In 5th place.
Homelander.
Hey, I am a proud member of the Democratic Church of America. Okay?
Well, I'm a fucking starlighter, so let's relax.
You fucking terrorist!
We'll get there.
Okay, you're jumping the gun a little bit. In 5th place, in its 3rd weekend of release, with another 8.9, just shy of $9 million, is The Sheep Detectives. Yet another pretty successful weekend for this Hugh Jackman-led film.
Peak.
In 4th place, in its 4th weekend of release, with $12.5 million more dollars, is The Devil Wears Prada 2. A very successful box office run for that movie. As we have stated, it is now over $608 million worldwide. In 3rd place, in its 5th weekend of release, with another $20 million in the books, is the biopic Michael. So Michael Jackson's biopic still going strong in the theaters. Matt's prediction, aging worse and worse every week, though. $788 million worldwide.
It'll make $250 million next week, though, so it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry, Matt.
It's right there, Matt. It is right there.
Next week's a big week for Michael, I can tell.
And the top 2, which I'm going to, I have a little bit I want to talk to you about both of these. And it's starting with what's in 2nd place, which is one of the most fun box office stories I have ever had the pleasure of talking about with you on the podcast, even though we've only been doing this over a year. But even then, if we had been doing this for 5-10 years, we haven't had a box office story like this. In its 2nd weekend of release, making $22.4 million more dollars, is the new horror film Obsession. And I just want to break down the numbers because what is happening with this movie is nothing short of historic. Truly, I don't take that word lightly. Mm-hmm. This film earned $30.2 million in its first full calendar week, which surpassed the entire runs of other horror films like Heretic, Midsummer, Together, and it has now since also passed the runs of Barbarian and Hereditary. It is currently sitting at $58.5 million domestically and $79.7 million worldwide. It is expected to surpass $80 million in the coming days, if not today, on Memorial Day. This film had a 39% increase, not decrease, increase from its first weekend to second weekend. More people went to go see this movie with less theaters in its second weekend than people did in its first weekend. That is the largest increase for a wide release film this century.
Holy shit. That is the power of social media and word of mouth.
Absolutely.
Literally, that's what that is. Everyone says this movie is gas, go see it, and after week 1, they go, oh shit, I should see this movie.
39%. It was almost, I mean, I know it was still like 11% away. It almost was half the time, like double the time, like 50% more.
That's
whatever the
crazy.
math may be. That is insane. Even Universal, who saw that it was tracking to do better this weekend, had its estimations at 30% of an increase, and it beat that by 9 more percent. It is one of the only films this century to even have a 30% or more increase, and it had the highest one of any film this century. It is the only wide release horror film on record all time to grow in its second weekend from its first weekend at a scale like this. Obsession is doing things we have never seen happen before at the box office. It has now made over 100 times its production budget, which was $750,000.
I wonder if this is gonna get the Sinners treatment. Like people like Sinners is one of my favorite movies of all time now, and I think this is what that's gonna be. Like people, I haven't seen it personally. I really should. But people are like, to use the word, they're fucking obsessed with this movie and the characters and the acting. They love Indy Never Ready. Like it's awesome, dude. This is so cool.
I think it's what is such a. What I love about this and why it's worth you and I taking a minute or two here to just kind of highlight that is it's the power of art, where it's not just money, because this film is tracking to become one of the only films in the history of the medium to earn $100 million or more on a budget that was less than $1 million. It is proof that it is not how much you spend on a film. It is the way you spend the money. It is the story and the craftsmanship that is on display, which is very apparent here in Obsession. I'm obsessed with it. So many people are obsessed with it. It is truly one of the films of the year already, and one of the greatest success stories from a financial standpoint in the history of the box office, which is actually insane that we are even saying that right now. And it is a horror film made by a 26-year-old who did YouTube comedy before this.
That's all my feed is his comedy sketches now, and it's every comment's like the guy who made Obsession, by the way.
I almost feel bad for Curry Barker because it's almost like this is his first fucking film. How on earth do you top these expectations?
But you know what? I know Jordan Peele hasn't really topped Get Out in a lot of people's heads, but I feel like Curry Barker can somehow do it. Like, after this, as such a young guy who does not have the experience that you would think he already does have, I think he could fucking do anything at this point.
I totally agree. I think a lot of people feel his next endeavor will be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, that they will tap him to direct it. We talked about that bidding war last year.
But is he a remake kind of guy? Like I feel like he's just a very original guy. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I would love to see more originals from him. He wrote this, he directed it, he fucking edited it. I mean, like, his hands were all over this. And hell, he has a little cameo in the movie. His voice is in the movie, not him. So I don't want to say what scene. It's
I heard he's a bartender in the movie.
No, if he was also a bartender, I didn't even notice that. But he has a different.
I saw the clip of his voice. Actually, I saw a clip of
then
it
you're okay
on TikTok,
the phone
and then
call
I recognized the voice. I was like, oh shit, that's him.
The phone call scene. So. You're right. I mean, I'd love to see more original stuff. It's just, without a doubt, Curry Barker's going to be handed a blank fucking check by Blumhouse and Universal for his next film. So whatever he chooses to do next, he will get more than $750,000 to make it. Not that he needs to, clearly, but he's going places. This film is going places. I would fucking love to see Indy Navarrete get get awards consideration for Nikki. Obviously, you make the Sinners comparison. I think from a word of mouth standpoint and an expectation standpoint, you're spot on. I just think that this is more of a straightforward horror than Sinners. So I don't know that the Academy is necessarily going to go for it for a picture nomination. I mean, Weapons was able to get, an acting nomination.
Yeah.
And that was like a similar boat to Obsession with straight line horror. So maybe that. But regardless, this is already one of the great films of the year, without a doubt.
Let me ask you this before we move on to number one, because we're not going to really talk about Obsession after this.
Right.
You, as someone who loves directing, right, and that's like a goal for you, does this movie and his limited budget and the success of it, does that instill any feelings in you as someone who wants to and has previously worked in a field like that?
Feelings of what? Just like inspiration?
Like inspiration, or like I don't know, like does it make you motivate you in any way or anything like that?
Sure, it should motivate any aspiring filmmaker. A film like this is, again, it's like last week. We sat here during Over Under and we talked about our superhero films, overrated, underrated, properly rated. We have different opinions, different takes on it. But regardless of where you stand on that conversation, I think anyone can at least appreciate that there is kind of a turning point right now with IP versus original. So maybe not superhero, but IP versus original. And what do audiences really want? What do people really crave these days when they go to the theater? And so I think for filmmakers looking to tell new, original, bold stories who have limited resources, limited budget, Obsession, whether you like horror or not, and this is not limited to horror, is proof that you can have a big breakout. You can do something that moves people, that gets people to the movie theater, because what drives people, I think, more than any IP, more than any just blanket original film, is something that is giving them a reason to see it in a theater. Something that they think is bold and different that they've seen before. Something that is telling a story that they can relate to, even if it's horror, right? There's still themes you can relate to. Just something that you can buy into. Something that you can enjoy and be entertained by. So as an aspiring filmmaker, as an aspiring writer, and I say this to every other aspiring creative sitting at home or in the car, wherever, listening to this, the success of Obsession should inspire confidence, hope, motivation, inspiration, all of that in you to go out and write that script and make that short film and submit to that festival, because you don't know who's going to see it. You don't know where it can take you. I mean, Curry Barker a year ago was a complete unknown. Now he is the hottest fucking shit in the film industry right now. And I think that is a testament to just his talent. And he's not the only person out there who's unknown with that kind of talent. So yes, long story short, Jack, it absolutely should motivate everybody, myself included, who's interested in that, to go and take action. Maybe you're the next Curry Barker. I mean, no one expected this film. 39% increase.
Yeah, dude.
That does not happen. That does not happen.
Wow. Good answer. Good answer.
So anyway, hell of a story. Even though it didn't come out in first, Obsession, in my opinion, is the winner of the box office this week. However, it wasn't in first place. In first place, in its opening weekend, with just shy of $82 million domestically, is the first Star Wars film in 7 years, The Mandalorian and Grogu. And while, Jack, this film made significantly more money than Obsession, this is actually, on the flip side, considered a massive disappointment for Star Wars. So let's dive into these numbers as well. The Mandalorian and Grogu just had the worst opening weekend for a Star Wars film ever. This is the lowest money a Star Wars film has ever made in its opening weekend.
Wow.
It earned $12 million, adjusted for inflation, I assume. It earned $12 million during its Thursday previews, the lowest for any Star Wars film under Disney. It earned $33 million on its domestic opening day, which is less than the previous lowest Solo, but still slightly higher than industry projections. And it opened with $82 million worldwide over the weekend, while Solo had opened to $84 million. The bright side in all of this is that the film could still end up being profitable, as it had a significantly lower budget than other recent Star Wars films. Its production budget was just $165 million. And these numbers don't take into account the full Memorial Day weekend, which saw it open to $100 million domestically and $163 million worldwide. Those numbers are also lower than Solo, which also debuted on Memorial Day in 2018. It made 103 and 168 just domestic and worldwide, and Solo was the first Star Wars film ever to lose money on its return on investment. So, not a great return to the theaters for Star Wars, unfortunately, but at least it could still make its money back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm ready to talk about it. When you want to just get right into it?
Right. Okay. So that'll lead us into our thoughts, and then we can always tie it back to like why we think it.
Yes, because I can't really say much yet.
It performed the way it did. So, just to bookend this segment, congratulations to the Mandalorian and Grogu on winning the box office of May 22nd through the 24th. Even though Obsession really won it, if we're being honest.
Double congrats. Double congrats.
Congrats to Mando and Obsession, two very different movies, both in the top of the box office this weekend. You can love and appreciate both of the things that those are doing. And now we're going to give our ratings and spoiler review for The Mandalorian and Grogu. So spoilers ahead for the latest Star Wars film. Jack, why don't you go first?
I give The Mandalorian and Grogu 7.5 big pipes out of 10.
Big pipes. I'm trying to even think about.
That's the best joke in the movie, dude. You're forgetting it.
I'm already forgetting. I give The Mandalorian and Grogu 4.7 English-speaking huts out of 10.
Yeah, that was weird. Dude, I had so much fun with this. You really didn't have fun?
I'm going to start with saying this. I fell asleep for like 10 minutes during the movie.
Which 10? Maybe it was Big Pipe. Maybe it was Big Pipe 10 minutes.
It was like when they were back, and like Grogu was fucking taking care of Mando, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so fucking bored right now, and I literally dozed off for like 10 minutes.
I'll tell you this, I thought that there was like really no development in this movie, and I'll give you that. It is very bland, but Grogu actually had some character development, and it's that scene, but that scene was painfully long. When Mando is poisoned and he's laying on the ground and Grogu's taking care of him, I liked that the whole, movie ends with him being like, okay, Grogu, you can fly. Like, it's like, oh, he trusts him to take care of himself now. That's character development for Grogu. But it did not need to be like 25 minutes or what felt like 25 minutes of the actual movie. I totally agree that was very boring.
Yeah, I will say I liked the idea that they were going for with that.
Yeah, just cut it in half.
I was just bored, dude. I was so absolutely bored with what was going on. It just wasn't interesting.
I agree.
Why don't you tell us? I think here at the BOD, we always like to start with some positives. I have a few too, but you're the one who really enjoyed this movie. So why don't we start with like what worked for you? Like, what is it about this film that made you rate it so high?
I'll just say I didn't have high expectations. I was like, this is going to be just a long episode of Mandalorian and Grogu, or like 3 or 4 episodes together. And that's what it was. I don't really know what anyone else really expected from this. But I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought that the action was great. I loved there's so many different worlds and creatures that you see in this, and I thought that was fantastic. I love all the side quests that they go on. There's not a huge, great overarching plot, and I'm admitting that, but
the whole film is a side quest.
The whole film is multiple side quests that lead to like the big side quest, which is kind of dumb, but it's not a perfect movie. I just thought it was fun, and I was laughing, and Big Pipe is when the little Babu Frick and Grogu go to rescue Mando, and then they walk up to the pipe that they're going to go in, and then they just stare at it for like 30 seconds, and it goes, wow, Big pipe, huh? That's it. I was
Yeah.
like, that's funny because you thought like they would do something or go in as big pipe, huh?
What are
I
they?
thought
The Anzolins or what they're
I have no
called?
idea what they're
I
called.
look. They did have me laughing throughout the
They're he's
movie.
like, oh, he got me.
Yeah,
I
we're coming back, Mando. We're
we
coming
coming
back.
back.
Like that.
Oh,
That was
good
funny.
baby. Like
Yeah, that
they
was
were
funny.
they were funny comedic relief. Grogu was adorable as ever. Mando was cool. What worked for me like a lot, a big part of this is that Mando is established as Star Wars' Batman. Him in the shadows, even in the first fight scene, just taking out everybody. Every time Mando shows up, it's like, he's here, he's here. He is Star Wars' Batman, and I think it's so awesome. And I also really enjoyed Embo for the limited amount of screen time he was in it. Remember Embo from Clone
Yeah.
Wars? He
Yeah.
was fucking cool. And a big complaint I have is that I wish the scene of him and Mando in the rain when he's on the roof and he's like trying to get into the house, I wish that was longer. I don't really wish a lot of this movie was longer, but I wish that part was longer because that was my favorite scene in the whole movie. So a lot of stuff could have been cut to extend the cool shit that I loved, but I loved some stuff. I loved Mando being Batman. I loved Embo. I loved Grogu. I loved Babu Frick characters. It was a good time for me.
Yeah, I did think at first it was fun. I liked the opening scene.
You have to admit he is Batman in that opening scene, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, I liked the opening scene. I thought that was really cool. It was good action. I was like, following along with this movie. I was like, okay, I'm having a good time all the way through when he goes to save Rada. On that moon, whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh yeah. Like Sakari or something.
Yeah, Shikari, I think.
Shikari.
And when he's like stuck fighting in the ring there.
That was cool.
That was cool. And then everything after that lost me like completely.
It's the Rada stuff, man.
Rada was not a good character in my opinion.
The voice acting was terrible, first of all.
Terrible. By the way, do you know what Jeremy Allen White's Rada sounds like in my opinion? Sounds like Joe Swanson.
I can't remember what he fucking sounds like.
He sounds like Joe Swanson. Go back. You can find clips online. People have been leaking clips of Rada in the movie when he's like, I'm my own man. Like, go back, look at that, and then look out Joe Swanson. They sound like pretty alike. I was
did not
kind of uncanny.
Sound good. I'm with you. Like the stuff with the Hutts really was not good.
I don't know why they were speaking English. I mean, I know Rada was the only one consistently, but even one of the twins was speaking English throughout, like on and off. And I was like, when the fuck have the Hutts ever spoken English?
Well, we've only ever seen like two of them before.
Right, but they never spoke English. Like, I don't know. I didn't.
No, they did. Zero the Hutt in the Clone Wars spoke English. He's like the purple one that's kind of like
This is the thing. Dave Filoni, his problem is he's too stuck in his own sandbox of characters and like he expects people this and that. It's like, I want to watch him. I want to see him speak Huttonese. I don't want to fucking hear a Hutt speaking perfect, bland English.
Especially when it just sounds like weird Jeremy
Bill
Allen
from
White.
accounting. Sounds like Bill from accounting. Like there's not even like a goddamn accent. It did not work for me.
I'll give you that. It really didn't work for me either. The Hutt stuff I thought was pretty trash. But what did you like? You like anything?
I told you I liked the action at the beginning.
Yeah.
I liked the duo of Mando and Grogu. It's as it's as heartwarming as it ever has been. Even though I don't think Mando's character was at all good in this movie, very bland.
No development for him.
No development, just kind of exists. There's a little bit of development for Grogu, but they are kind of still dragging their feet with this character a bit. Just in terms of his abilities, I would say at this point.
Yeah.
But I can give you that. He had a little bit of development there towards the end. But Mando was just fucking bland. He was the fucking Blandalorian, dude. It was just like, the beginning scene was cool. Yeah, the whole like Batman approach, I do agree with that. But like, Pedro Pascal was clearly just phoning this in. And really, most of the actors in this movie were phoning it in. I mean, Sigourney Weaver's performance felt like wooden.
She was very flat. I didn't think Pedro was bad by any means.
I did not like
I just
Pedro's
think he didn't have much to
performance.
do.
I mean, I think it's both. I don't think he did much with what he was given, and I don't think he was given much in the first place. And obviously, I agree with Jeremy Allen White. I mean, really, besides like some of the action sequences and the duo being, portrayed very well, there wasn't a ton that I did like about this movie. I thought that the visuals were okay, but some of the CG was terrible.
Really?
Uh,
I thought it looked cool.
I thought some of the CG was really bad. What I thought looked cool was the puppetry, which Star Wars has always been known for.
Yeah, it was pretty
I
dope.
thought that was really good in this movie. So that was part of my positive rating as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, I did not like the CG. I didn't think it looked as bad as some of the teasers, but I don't think it really looked nearly as good as many other Star Wars movies in the past. And the one good shot was the ripoff of the ripoffs of the century of ripoffs, which was in the beginning with
Yeah.
the jets and everything, or
The
in this
sun.
movie, the ships and the sun, which is, we've seen that a billion fucking times. It's a ripoff of Apocalypse Now. So, I mean, that was a good shot, but it's not original.
I thought the rain sequence looked fantastic with Embo in the rain. You didn't think that looked that good?
Not really.
I thought it
No.
looked really good.
This film felt very soulless to me. Like, I don't know what happened to Jon Favreau, but I don't think he's got the sauce anymore. I feel like beyond the visuals, the plot of this film was, like you said, it was just like 4 or 5 different episodes of a potential season 4 mashed together into this one like semi-coherent film where it's like, all right, now Mando's here doing this. Like, most of the film is just Mando goes somewhere, he's like given a mission, and then he goes somewhere and he has to fight a guy, and then he has to save Grogu,
Yeah.
and then Grogu save him, and then he leaves and he has to do it again, and it just is very repetitive with him already. Like, ever since season 2, it doesn't feel like they know what to do with the Mandalorian. Like, it doesn't really feel like they know what to do with him.
I agree. Mando doesn't have really anything to do besides like fight people in this movie because like he's the one constantly in danger. Like maybe put Grogu in danger or Zeb. Where the fuck was Zeb half the movie? He just shows up when Mando needs a ride, you know? Like I don't know, putting him in danger constantly gives other people things to do and show emotion and things like that, but Grogu is only in danger like once, and that's when Mando's fighting in the fighting pit, so Mando can't really do anything about it. Like, I don't know. I do think that was kind of weird that Mando's always the one. He gets taken by the Hutts. He gets taken by Embo. He gets poisoned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just feels like his character arc kind of completed at the end of season 2. And ever since then, they've been treading water to sell merchandise. Because, like, at the end of the day, when we're looking at this movie, isn't that going to be the biggest accomplishment that they got out of it?
Yeah,
is
Baby Yoda.
that they were look at the fucking hat. I mean,
yeah,
they I'm not saying they made this with the sole intention of merchandising, but that is a big intention that they have, is to be able to sell more merch, push the brand further with Baby Yoda and all that. Like, it just doesn't feel like they have anything interesting anymore to say with these characters in this time frame of the Star Wars timeline.
Do you think that if this movie came out directly after season 3, because season 3 ended what, like 3 or 4 years ago at this point? Do you think if this movie came out directly after season 3, it would have been received better?
Maybe.
Because I think people kind of forgot about them. Like, they don't really care anymore.
I mean, maybe, but in my opinion, like, it still would have just been like, oh, because they're trying to treat this like, I saw interviews with Favreau where he's like, no, instead of a season 4, like, we're doing a big event for Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like, these characters, they deserve a big screen appearance. And it's not a big event. Nothing major happens. The whole film is a side quest.
I thought Mando was going to die. I was like, maybe this is what they do with him. They kill him off, and Grogu, like, is taking care of him, and then Mando eventually dies for him. And then, like, I don't know what would happen to Grogu. He goes off with the little guys. I don't know. I just thought
that would have been something.
You're right. There's not. We say spoiler review. There's nothing to spoil. Nothing happens. No characters die. Nothing insane happens. No cameos. No major plot points that affect anything else in the universe. Like, nothing. I thought even they were going to kill Embo. I thought, oh shit, are they going to kill my boy Embo right now? No, he just runs away. Nothing happens. Literally nothing happens.
And then they make this like big deal out of like when the Anzellans like come back with, which I don't know how they brought, like, Embo and like whoever the fuck Sigourney Weaver's character was, you know what I mean? Or Zeb and
yeah, whoever she was.
Whoever the fuck she was.
The rebellion, the Republic.
Right, you know what I mean? And it's supposed to be this big moment of like, "No, we got you, Mando," and it's like, "Who the fuck are you? We've seen you in like 2 other scenes. Like,
Yeah, I
I don't give a shit about any of this right now." And then the thing with Zeb is another thing. It's just again, it's Filoni playing in his Rebels sandbox. You know, trying just using his characters, trying to get people interested in them. And I gotta be honest, I don't think general audiences give a shit. Like they want, you know what I mean? Like I don't think half of them probably don't even know who he is.
dude, him wearing a fucking cowboy hat and that
In his one cameo
well, he had two cameos. He was
right, but the cameo he had the cameo in the cafe, and then he was in one of the jets, right?
yeah, he was in the X-wing, but like in the cafe, he's wearing a fucking cowboy hat. Like, come on,
Yeah,
dude. I,
and it's
I, yeah, I'm gonna like, I do have negatives, like I'm saying negatives, but at the end of the day, I thought that I just had a good time. I love Star Wars, and I know you love Star Wars, and I was just so excited to see a Star Wars movie in theaters. I was watching with my girlfriend, who's not a big Star Wars fan, but she wanted to see it with me because I wanted to see it. It was a very special time for me, and I had fun.
but okay, so
Yeah,
let me ask you this,
sure.
like a very honest question: do you think that that rating? And and I preface this question with the obvious that, of course, any opinion is a biased opinion.
Sure, sure, sure.
But do you think that you just the experience is playing that big of a bigger factor in the rating than maybe you'll give it credit for? Like
I
the experience
think
of getting to see Star Wars on the big screen with your girlfriend in a theater setting, like, do you think it's a reflection of the film's quality, or is it just more of a combination of the film and your experience of finally having this moment?
that if I rewatch this movie at home in a couple of years, I would probably give it like a 6.5. And right now I'm at a 7.5. So I do think it does help a little bit because it just is Star Wars and it's a big deal to me. But yeah, no, you're right. But it's not a huge margin, that's not a huge difference.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I love Star Wars. Hell, I'm wearing 2 things of Star Wars right now. I like it more than Marvel. When I think both are at their peak, I prefer Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like it's a special franchise to me. But I think for that reason, I hold it to a high enough standard that for me, it's not enough to just be back in theaters with a Star Wars movie. We as fans deserve films that we are going to look back on and say, like, these were such impactful films. Like The Mandalorian and Grogu is the epitome of a film that's just going to come and go. Like, it's not going to resonate with anyone. It's not going to stick with us. It just happened. Whereas you look at the original trilogy, which inspired a whole generation. You look at the prequel trilogy, which for all of its flaws inspired a whole generation. I just feel like The Mandalorian and Grogu, like for me, I love Star Wars, but it's just not enough. I don't have the same grace I think that you do.
I think the way you review movies is a little strange because you have many times on this podcast given a movie a high rating, and your reasoning has been, among other things, obviously, but part of your reasoning has been, well, I just love movies. That's kind
I
of what I'm
do.
doing. I'm going, well, I just love Star Wars. And you're saying because it's Star Wars, you hold it higher, but shouldn't you do that with everything? Shouldn't you expect, like, you're saying you expected more from Star Wars, but you don't expect more from other things. You know what I mean?
But I do. And but I do expect more from those. And I do love movies. And I think that what I think those films accomplish are, I like when they do it for me, I do hold it to that same standard. Like, I tend to rate movies higher because I love movies, but that's not to say that it's not also because I think that they are accomplishing. Like, I don't think there's a ton of movies that I rate really high just because I had fun with it. You know what
But
I
like,
mean?
would you said I tend to rate movies higher because I love movies. So like, would you ever say I tend to rate Star Wars movies higher because I love Star Wars? Because that's kind of what I'm saying.
Possibly. But also, I think I rated this movie a little higher because I love Star Wars.
Okay, then that's fair enough. So yeah, okay, that's fine. Damn, dude.
Like I do think that like I gave it 4.5 or 2.5 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a Star Wars movie, it's probably 2 stars or maybe 1.5 stars.
Whoa.
Probably 2 stars. But like, so to your fair point, I love movies. I think that on average, I do rate movies higher because I love movies. But that doesn't mean I don't hold them to high standards, and it doesn't mean that when I feel like that standard isn't met. I think especially in an established IP where we've seen so much better before. Because I think, you know, you make a fair point, and it's also in my defense, every film is different. It's like not like I try to go in with the same way of judging a film each time, but really, like Obsession and Mandalorian and Grogu, for example, two entirely different films, two entirely different thought processes when it comes to analyzing, judging, enjoying the film. So, I mean, it's not that what you say is completely unfair in any way. It's just, and I do think that this movie had a slight boost for being a Star Wars movie still, but that doesn't mean that I don't hold films, just because I do tend to rate them higher, to high standards. And for this one, you know, I had fun at times, but I also was so fucking bored throughout a lot of other times, which for a Star Wars film feels like a massive indictment.
That's
really
fair. That Grogu scene needed to be cut in half. I'm totally with you. This is a dumb question. You know how there's so many creatures introduced in this movie, just like a million at once. You know when
Yeah.
he's in that gladiator fight and he's fighting those dudes with Rada?
Yeah.
Are they people or are they like creatures? Because one of them's wearing a shirt. The big lizard guy that busts out of the door is wearing literally like a shirt.
No, they're not people, obviously.
Why is he wearing clothes?
Yeah, that's weird. I don't even think about that. Weren't those supposed to be the same characters from the game, the board game? I forget what it's called that they're playing.
Oh, dude, they totally are. Yeah, it's like the chess game that they play.
It's like a chess game, and there's a name, and they say it in the movie like 5 times, so you know that that's what it is. So, like, they're not people, but I know what you're saying.
The big lizard guy has a shirt on.
Yeah, that's weird. So does that mean the others are naked?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Does that mean Rada's naked?
Rada's naked as fuck, dude. No,
you know what I mean?
What. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this. I just thought, like, I did think it looked good. The CGI looked like that snake at the bottom of the pit. That looked cool. The physics of that fight scene made no sense whatsoever. The fact that he was walking on the water, but there was like things swimming underneath him made no sense. But I thought they looked.
What is he, Jesus? He's our Lord,
dude. He was walking on like small little branches, and like they show it from underneath. I was like, that doesn't make sense. He was running around that whole thing. Anyway, stupid complaint, but whatever.
I got another positive, though.
Yeah, hit me with it.
The music. Ludwig Göransson.
So good.
Fantastic.
Dude, like the dubstep type music.
He's carrying this shit big time, dude. Yeah. He's Ludwig Göransson for a reason, man. Like
I've totally forgot to mention that. You're so right.
I was just thinking that. I was like, no, I definitely had another positive. That's why it's like not a total. And the music, I'm like sitting there like jamming out the whole time.
The Mandalorian theme is like to the max. It's so good.
Right. And the way he's mixing it around to keep it fresh, because we've been hearing it for fucking, 7 years now.
Yeah.
Like, it was great. And also, unironically, Jack, Martin Scorsese's given the best performance in this movie.
He was pretty good.
Why is he even in this fucking movie? How did that even happen?
I think Jon Favreau said he was in one of Martin Scorsese's movies for a minute, and then like he was like, "Oh, you could join mine."
You know what I think is so funny about that? For all the criticism that Scorsese gave Marvel over the years about it being theme park roller coaster cinema, is this not basically in the same category? And like, again, whether you agree or disagree with that,
it would have to be.
Is you know what I mean? Like, that's not the debate, whether you agree or disagree. It's just a matter of, is this Mandalorian and Grogu film not also what he would consider roller coaster cinema?
Maybe he's taking it back. I don't know. Because also, he's voicing some like four-armed freak. Like, dude, that is the epitome of like
what your complaints are.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. Where was Jon Favreau in this movie? He always has a cameo, and I don't know if he was even in this one.
I think the cameo was Filoni this time. I don't think Favreau was in it. Not that I noticed, at least.
Fair. Fair. That's all really I got for Mando.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say. I mean, it just nothing else really happens in this movie. I thought it was to just, kind of give an overhead, like, I thought it was a disappointing return for Star Wars after all these years, when especially the last time we saw a movie from Star Wars in theaters was The Rise of Skywalker, which is worse than this movie.
Yeah, way worse.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all these years, all this expectation and hype that we're finally back, and this is what we get. And I'm glad you enjoyed it, for the record. Like, I am glad that you were able to have fun and enjoy this movie. That's what it's always about, really. But unfortunately for me, even though I had some fun, the dullness of it was far outweighing any fun that I ended up having, and so I was very disappointed.
Well, that sucks, man. I hate to see it. I will say, I hate every time that any Star Wars character does the Force heal, because that's the dumbest thing they could have done in Star Wars, is give characters the Force heal. Because Anakin's whole thing is that he wants Padme not to die and to be healed and all this stuff during childbirth. And then Grogu does it this movie, and Rey and Kylo do it their movies. Stop doing the fucking Force heal. It just negates everything about the original, the whole originals and prequels. Hate it.
The sequels in general negate the whole prophecy of the other 6 films, but
everything.
But I do think that would only work if they explained that it was something that was discovered. The ability was discovered after Anakin's time. Like, that's the only way.
I guess this this was right after Anakin dies, though. Like, this is between 6 and 7.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I mean, how much? I mean, pretty much all. Like, how much time, though? You know what I mean?
I don't know. There's still stormtroopers and like Imperials.
Right. So that's a good point too.
I don't know.
And
whatever.
Grogu's not even like a fully realized Jedi. He trained with Luke barely for like maybe a year or whatever. So
yeah, and he's like, I mean, he is 50, but we don't know how long
right,
he
but
trained
that's like
at the Jedi
young.
Temple.
That's like young for him.
Yeah, he's a little.
Wasn't he only with Luke for like a year or whatever?
He was at the Jedi Temple during Order 66, so he must have had a little bit of training. But, like, I don't know how much. I mean, they didn't give him a lightsaber or anything. There's no fucking way he was swinging around a lightsaber.
But this is also what I mean by I want to see an evolution of Grogu's abilities at this point, because I do feel like it's been treading that water for a little while.
I think if we get more Mando and Grogu, whatever the next thing is needs to be the last thing, and they need to do a Bad Batch. Remember the end of Bad Batch? It's older Hunter and then older Omega. Like, they did a time, like, literally like a 15-year time jump after that. They need to do that with Grogu. They need to have Mando maybe.
But then they're going to say, where was Grogu during the sequels?
Maybe he's taking care of Mando on the Outer Rim. Mando's an old man now, and Grogu's maybe like 15 years old or something. Like, looks 15, but he's really like 90 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, just any sort of evolution. Like, him being a baby the entire time is kind of getting old.
I agree.
But like,
as much as I love the duo, do you think we'll ever see Grogu speak?
I don't know, because once they start giving him like autonomy like that, it's gonna kind of be weird. Like, yo, this little baby's speaking to me right now. I
do think it'll ruin like the marketing appeal of Grogu.
I agree, because he could catch fish and feed Mando and heal him and do all this like adult stuff, and then he can start talking. I'll be like, yo, this is a grown ass adult just as a baby.
Right, but like then at that point, like I agree, but if he doesn't ever start speaking, I saw a tweet. It was like cracking me up. They're like, where they were basically saying like, at a certain point, you have to wonder, is Grogu like developmentally challenged or something?
He's
like,
just
why can't he fucking speak, dude? Like,
well, yeah. When did Yoda start talking? Like, did Yoda start talking when he was 100 years old? It's kind of wait. Yeah,
I mean, we've only seen like what 4 of these ever. These
three.
We've seen Yoda, Yaddle,
and Grogu.
For some reason, I thought there was a 4th, but maybe not.
Wait, but if you think of the way humans develop, right? When do you start speaking? Like 3 years old or something?
If that, I mean, if sometime sooner, really, yeah.
So, and we live to like 85. If they live to 900, and they only start, and he's 50 and he's still not speaking, that's like a 5-year-old. You know, that's like equivalent to being like 5 years old, I feel like.
Yeah, Grogu's fucking developmentally challenged.
If he lives to 100, that's like a 10-year-old and he won't be able to speak. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you know, like I get why Disney won't want to give him lines.
Yeah,
but
weird.
At the same time, if you don't, eventually it's just like
loses cuteness, though.
Yeah, it's just you get over it. So, yeah, I mean I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu.
Unfortunately, I feel like this franchise of Star Wars is a bit at a low point with its films. I mean, the shows are still pretty good, but it's supposed to be a film franchise first and foremost, and in my opinion, it's at a pretty low point with that.
Well, maybe
Um,
Starfighter can change things around. Ryan
yeah,
Gosling,
yeah.
original, new characters. I think that could be pretty freaking cool, man.
I'm very hopeful for that. I'm more hopeful for that than I ever was for this one.
Yeah,
So,
and I was too. I am too. Even though I had a good time and I liked it, this actually exceeded my expectations. I was prepared to give it 3 stars, and I ended up giving it 4. It's like three. It's between 3.5 and a 4. So I had a good time. I can't really complain too much about it.
well, I can. But we will move on from the fucking Blandalorian. Um, there was another movie that came out this weekend that you didn't get a chance to see, but my God, Jack, I hope you see it soon. Not before you see Obsession. If I had to pick one of these two, you should go see Obsession.
And if I had to pick, I would
Um,
also pick Obsession.
right, right. But I still want to just take a few minutes just to talk about it. I won't spoil because I don't know if you do want to eventually see it. I'm sure you will down the road. So I'm going to give my ratings and spoiler-free review for the new Boots Riley film, I Love Boosters. So I give this movie 9, I don't know, 9.1, 9.2, 9.125 teleporters out of 10. Yeah, well, you'll see when you watch the movie, you know what I mean?
All right.
I give it 9 English speaking huts out of 10.
And Jeremy Allen White sucks at this job.
Joe Swanson sound and huts out of 10. I saw this movie first this weekend. And it is crazy to me as we transition from Mandalorian over to Boosters. I can't believe that there was a new Star Wars movie out this weekend that wasn't my top viewing priority, which again, wraps up the other conversation of where that's out right now. And kind of ties the whole theme of today's episode about what audiences are looking for between original and IP, and all of that. And even though, this didn't crack the top 5 box office, it's certainly not something that everyone's talking about compared to Obsession and Mando. It still was a great movie. I still think this is like an underrated gem of the year that people will slowly discover as the year goes on, maybe especially when it eventually hits streaming. So just to give an idea for you, Jack, and everyone at home what the film is about, again, spoiler free, it's about these young women. They're called boosters. A booster is basically someone who shoplifts and takes the clothes and sells it on off market for a cheaper price. Like they buy high end expensive clothes and they sell it for a cheaper price. And so basically, this film kind of shows this trio played by Keke Palmer, Naomi Ackie, and Taylor Page. And eventually they're joined by Poppy Liu, which, by the way, Jack, like this cast is a pretty good cast.
I saw, yeah.
Keke Palmer, obviously we know. Naomi Ackie, she's in Mickey 17. Taylor Page, who I'm not sure if you know her as much, but she was in what the hell has she been in? She was in High School Musical 3. Oh, okay, look at that. Anyway,
Good enough
but then
for
it's
me.
got Aiza Gonzalez, Demi Moore, Lakeith Stanfield, Will Poulter, Don Word of the Day Cheadle. Like there's actually a pretty good cast here, and they create this just really fucking wacky, surreal world. Like I thought that this was as inventive and creative of a film as you could ever see. It doesn't always make sense. It's a Boots Riley film. If you've ever seen his other movies, Sorry to Bother You, you know that a Boots Riley film is not always going to make the most sense, but you're going to have fun, you're in for an adventure, and he does have something important to say. And in this film, I find it really interesting because he's giving a comedically absurd and surrealist critique on late stage capitalism. And he makes a really strong point about how consumerism is built on the backs of an exploited working class. And I just think the way he displays this with such hilarity, with such color, such inventive set pieces, it's really unlike anything I've ever seen. I think unlike anything you've really ever seen. He just does so in a cool way. Like it really just makes for an enticing time at the cinema. Like I said, he's utilizing really cool set production. Like Demi Moore plays like this fashion like icon that they're stealing from her stores. Like she's the one that's like battling with this trio of boosters. She lives in like this fucking Doofenshmirtz looking like building, but it's like
Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated?
yeah, it literally,
Wow.
but it's like slanted. It's like if the Leaning Tower of Pisa was Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. Like that's literally
Kinda
the
sweet.
building, and they make like a whole. It's almost like Charlie Chaplin-esque the way they make like physical comedy out of the scenes where they're in the building, and like they like Kiki. There's a scene where Kiki Palmer's character is like trying to sneak into the building to meet her, and she hides in like a coffee cart because like Demi Moore's character, Christy Smith, she has like coffee personally delivered to her every day, and she's like in the cart, and it's like on a slant, and she's like trying to like escape the room, and she's like trying to run up the fucking just walk up to the door, and at one point like you got to give Boots Riley credit, he goes full like Looney Tunes, like her legs are like fucking like going like this, like it's like cartoonishly like it's just hilarious stuff.
Does it give you Wes Anderson vibes? Like the way it's just over exaggerated?
Sort of, but
I
there
don't
is
really fuck with that.
there's a difference. Like Wes Anderson, there's a stylistic difference. The over exaggeration, the surrealist elements are similar, but it's the presentation, I would say, is different.
Okay.
Like Wes Anderson is very symmetrical, it's very picturesque, whereas Boots Riley is very just outlandish and absurd.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of just like the like the absurdity kind of those kind of movies where there's like, I don't know, they never really interest me, so I don't know if I'd even like this movie. It's just
maybe
like
not
insane, like
maybe
ridiculous.
not, but it's still maybe not, yeah, but it's still worth a watch, which I do find that interesting because and I don't mean this in a judgmental way, because I like this stuff too. We like Star Wars, we like Marvel. There's certainly, I mean, they're not necessarily surrealist elements, but there's a lot of absurdity in those worlds.
Yeah, but
so
they have
I
like
am curious like what the difference is.
they have like established rules, and I feel like in these worlds of like Wes Anderson or Boots Riley, it's like anything can happen if it's like cartoonish and funny. You know what I mean? Like in
Well,
Phoenician Scheme, like they'll have a grenade and be like, "Oh, grenade!" Throw it behind them. Like it's like stupid. No one would actually do that, but like
it's very Looney Tunes-esque.
Yeah, exactly. Like anything can really happen, but in Star Wars, it's like this is exactly how this world works. And when they stray from that, when they're like, "Oh, you can actually force heal," I'm like, "That's dumb. You shouldn't just introduce something that wouldn't actually happen."
Well, I think that's dumb in the sense of like with the Force heal, because this is an established universe,
Right,
ongoing from
yeah.
film to film, show to show. Whereas in these singular films, where it's just a one-off, I think it's okay because I think the established rule is the lack of rule.
And that's fine. Yeah, that makes sense. But I'm just not really a huge fan of it.
I mean, look, everyone's into their own thing, so I'm not judging that. But I do think it's at least worth the watch because you've never seen a Boots Riley film. There are differences between him and Wes Anderson, and I have seen that comparison online. But I would, again, I argued that there's the presentation differences between the way they go about it.
All style. It's all style, baby.
It is all style, and so what you might not love about the Wes Anderson style, you might at least prefer the way Boots Riley does it, for example. Okay. And if you don't, you don't. Look, that's fair game, but at least you watched it and you formed your own opinion on it. The score is also very quirking. It's very fitting of this maximalist kind of approach to building, and that's really what Wes Anderson and Boots Riley are all about. They're very maximalist, filmmakers. They take advantage of every inch of every space. They kind of go above and beyond in these really big, ridiculous kind of films, but they do have very grounded themes to them, which is what works for me, because I think I'd be more like you about it if it was not tethered to something that I can relate to or that the general audience can relate to. But because they're telling this story about the risings of the, working class, unions going on strike, which is very real. We see that very, in our real world today. He's just doing so in a very imaginative, creative sense. So that works for me because it's different. We're not seeing the same kind of film over and over again. And I can rely on Boots Riley to give us something completely unheard of before that we've never seen, that we'll probably never see again. I do question if he's okay up in the noggin.
Damn.
What's going on up there, Boots? In a good way. In a good way. But this is such an authentically bold film. And so I give it a lot of credit for that. It's not perfect. I do wish we saw more of some of the supporting characters. Will Poulter's not in it that much. Don Cheadle's not in it that much. I love Don Cheadle's character. He plays a character named Dr. Jack. One of my favorite characters in the movie. He's only in a couple scenes, though.
Damn, that sucks.
I know. I was like, the first time we saw Don Cheadle come up, I think I was most excited going into the movie to see Don Cheadle in a Boots Riley film. And I think this goes to our very earlier conversation about Marvel actors and their filmographies outside of Marvel.
Yeah.
Like seeing Don Cheadle do this kind of film outside of Marvel, I was like, okay, what is he? How is this going to differ from like a roadie? And it's so fucking different. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, Don Cheadle's got a great filmography too. If we're talking Marvel,
he really does. Yeah. He does. So, and this is the latest addition to that. So, I was a little disappointed that some of these supporting characters didn't get quite a lot of screen time at all. But I do think they at least made the most of the screen time they got, and they do fill out this chaotic world. I think the most important thing for me, and it's not just like a movie like I Love Boosters, this does work for Star Wars and Marvel and Obsession and any movie, literally any movie, is if the world can feel lived in. If the characters, if the settings, if the actions, like it needs to feel authentic to this world. And the rules that it establishes for itself, and these supporting characters, while they don't have that screen time, like I said, they do make the world feel lived in. This specific world feel lived in, feel real and authentic, and not just like words on a page.
That's important. Yeah, I'm with you.
So that's really all. I don't want to take up too much time on this, but definitely was a tremendous watch, and I give credit to the whole cast, Keke Palmer, Aki, Paige, everybody. Like I said, they were great. The trio was great. Keke Palmer is fantastic in this movie. I just think it's a cool movie. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a cool time. It pops. It's colorful, very vibrant. It's got great vibes. It's a film I could see myself watching again, down the road. So, I highly recommend everybody goes and checks out I Love Boosters in theaters. Support Boots Riley. Support this film. It was great. I loved it.
Boots Riley's a crazy name, by the way.
It's a cool name.
It's cool, but it's like, is his real name? Fucking God, dude, this camera's killing me. I don't know what's happening to it.
I don't know.
All right.
My Wi-Fi problems jumped over to you just like the sickness jumped over to me.
I know, apparently. Okay, whatever. Let's move on.
And to answer your question, technically Boots is not. His name is Raymond Lawrence Riley.
Yeah, Boots is better.
Boots is a nickname. But Boots is like a fun name,
Yeah, Boots is way better.
And I hear his wife is Dora. No, I'm
He's like, yeah. The map, maybe.
Swiper. Don't swipe my penis. All right.
What the fuck?
I don't know. We are just trying to push through this Memorial Day episode. That is I Love Boosters. Those are the films of this episode, but that is not all we have, Jack. We got a TV show to talk about. Cable Box Dynasty back.
We've returned. The Boys is finally over after 5 long seasons. We're going to review season 5 of The Boys. Do you want to start?
Sure.
So spoilers are ahead for The Boys. Spoiler review, season 5 of The Boys.
All right. So this is my rating and spoiler, review, but rating for The Boys season 5. I give The Boys 6.5 Homelander fireside chats out of 10, which is, I'm not sure how many people will appreciate that joke, but I know you do.
Some FDR fans out there. I give The Boys season 5 6 Homelander memes out of 10. I'm gonna miss the memes from this show, dude. And we got a couple. We got a couple from this season too, but they're great, man. The Homelander looking at the screen when he's disappointed. The Homelander going like, "Ugh," to firecracker in season 4.
The best one of my favorites has actually come from this season though. The GIF when Deep walks in and then it's just fathers like looking back and forth, and then Homelander like lets out a sigh. Have you seen
Yeah,
that one?
yeah, I like that
That
one.
one's
The one where
so
he used the big
good.
cheeks was like that
Yeah,
one is a good one. Dude, I'm gonna miss the memes. So what do you
yeah,
think?
man.
You start us off. What's going through your head about this season?
Um, this show's definitely like lost the plot a bit. This seems to be an epidemic with TV lately, where uh they like don't know how to stick the landing. You know, it's not just The Boys. We saw it with Stranger Things, and obviously Game of Thrones is famous for that. Like, it just seems to be an issue where
It is
shows
an
can't
issue.
stick the landing. Um, I thought that parts of it were good, fine. Hence a 6.5, maybe 6.3, but I didn't think it was worse than that. I actually didn't mind the finale. I thought it was a decent enough finale for the show. I
I
had
thought it
fun
was
with it.
okay.
I
Yeah.
thought it was. It was entertaining, for sure.
It's really everything in between.
Yeah,
I loved
like
the first two
first.
episodes.
Me, it was really just the first episode, the A Train stuff, which we talked about a bit on
Yeah,
the
we already
show.
discussed that.
Which was I thought great. It was a great way to kind of end his arc. He probably had the best ending of any, like, in terms of a story arc of any character on the show, actually. And
Yeah,
it came way back in the first
which
episode.
is crazy.
It just didn't feel like a final season. There didn't feel like enough urgency. It didn't live up to the promise of this big climactic battle, this world-ending battle.
Scorched earth.
Kind of scorched earth, blood and bones. Like,
Well, I do have something to say about that. I actually don't mind that. People were saying like, "Oh, scorched rug. Oh, scorched office." Because that's really what the final scene is. But I saw some people online say some stuff, and it really made sense. I don't. Homelander's whole thing was like, "Oh, if you release the Flight 37 video, I'm gonna burn everything down. I'll have nothing to lose." And then they release it in episode 1, and he does nothing about it. And I think that is his character, is like, as much as he's threatening to destroy and kill everybody, he still needs people's affection. So how embarrassing is it that Homelander, the most powerful person in the world, only kills like 100 people when he could kill millions? I think it's kind of on brand for his character to just be a little bitch baby at the end who didn't really do anything super significant.
I mean, he's always been a little bitch baby, but I just think he's more menacing earlier on in the show than he is by now. Like,
He's smarter. He's definitely smarter.
He's smarter, and I do think he's more menacing. I know that he's obviously like cultivated more power, politically, socially, and everything in this final season than season 1, but like, that's more circumstantial. I just don't feel like he's as threatening with his aura, with his, his tone. Like, when I look at clips of season 1, like, I rewatched the scene from season 1 when Madeline was like tied up with the bomb, when Butcher has the bomb with her.
Great
And
scene.
he's like, it's a menacing scene. And then this season, again, he's always been a bitch baby, but like, they really lean too hard into it. It's too satirical. And I've always said with The Boys that I feel like it leaned too hard on the satire aspect of the show, and it was its own detriment. And I do still feel that way by the end of the series.
I agree. I also I'll complain about power scaling a lot, and especially for like Invincible, but it never really had anything to do with the plot. But since you just brought up the Stillwell bomb scene, I'll just go right into the finale for a minute. Homelander, in that scene, the bomb goes off and he still gets Butcher out in time. So he's faster than a literal bomb exploding, right? Homelander in season 5 flies to space and back. He drops the guy off. Homelander chases A-Train. He catches it right up to A-Train. He's right behind him the whole time. His super speed is insane. He can't even fly out of the office in time in the finale. And I think that is a problem. When it's like, okay, the power scaling is different, whatever, it doesn't really affect much. But when it affects how the actual main character's death, or one of the main character's deaths, happens and how the whole series ends, that's stupid. In episode 1 of season 5, Homelander cuts Kimiko in half with his laser. And the finale of season 5, he hits her with the laser again. She just bounces and gets hit back.
Strong. She is stronger now. But
No, the blast thing does not make you stronger. They said it's the radiation that gives her the power to do that. She didn't take V1. She's not stronger in any way. She just has that ability.
Oh.
Like,
well, then that's stupid.
It's so stupid, right? It makes no sense. So the power scaling kind of made the finale iffy for me, but I like how things ended, I guess, but I just don't like how we got there.
Yeah, again, they spent so much of the season with the virus, never ended up playing a factor.
Almost entirely irrelevant. It's just basically a reason for Butcher to die.
Right, which I don't mind that they're like, oh, I don't mind the idea of it being like, oh, twisting it around and like, really what this season should have been was season 4 should have been about them chasing down the V1. And then season 5 should have been about Homelander after he took the V1.
He
And
does
now they have to deal with an immortal Homelander.
he does nothing after he gets it. He gets it in episode 6. He just doesn't do anything with it. Like, you'd think you'd see something crazy. Like, his eyes go fucking crazy in the sky, and he doesn't do anything.
I think that's on brand with the whole issue that we don't see enough of Homelander really doing enough stuff, like bad shit and stuff with his powers in general as the series goes on. Season 1, what was it, 37? Flight 37? He fucking takes down the plane. We never see anything like that again from Homelander. The closest we get to anything super menacing with him is in season 4 when he goes back to the lab. Like, we don't really get much of that kind of stuff. It's very disappointing. It's a lot of just fucking yapping with this guy.
Flight 37 was the plane that him and Maeve were on, and then there's another one that he lasers.
Oh, okay. I just know it as the Flight 37.
Yeah.
But
you're
you know
right.
what my point. Like,
exactly.
We see him take down the whole plane, and I get your argument of like he still craves affection. We know that Homelander's whole thing has always been that deep down he craves affection. But like, I still think that they don't balance enough between that, his, never-ending quest to find that affection, and his ruthlessness that he can also tap into.
I agree. All he does really is like crush the president's head.
Right. Okay. So, fucking Wilson Fisk did that in season 1 with the chief of police.
He did do that. I agree. And I think you're right. The virus ended up being almost ultimately pointless. And I know they're setting up Vought Rising. Just that is the biggest issue we're going to talk about, is that this whole season is Soldier Boy focused, who is then irrelevant.
In the end, he's just put back in the fucking.
He has no ending. He's
sleep.
Back on ice. And are they going to now? Is Vought Rising going to be showing present day? Like, are they going to give Soldier Boy an ending in that show, or is his ending he's just in Homelander's apartment for the rest of his life?
I think this is a good point too. I think you'll agree. We also have this whole thing in episode 6 between Soldier Boy and Bombsight that holds almost no emotional value to the audience whatsoever because we've barely ever seen anything with Bombsight.
Yeah,
don't you think that it would have been a much more impactful scene if Vought Rising came out before season 5? So we see
100%.
the relationship between Soldier Boy and Bombsight leading to this big moment where he finally frees Bombsight of this burden.
I totally agree, and seeing how useless the Gen V characters were in this show makes me think that they shouldn't have done Gen V season 2, and they should have just replaced that with Vought Rising.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Marie Moreau was like supposed to be, I mean, in Gen V, I never saw season 2, but I know in season 1, she was kind of like propped up as like the most powerful character in the boys universe after Homelander. Like she was like supposed to be this big weapon in helping take down Homelander, and her whole thing in this season, in the very small screen time she has, is like basically helping the people that were going to be killed from the cinema.
Yeah, go drive a truck.
She was going to go drive them to Canada. Like, that was her whole thing. How disappointing is that?
And she's supposed to be Homelander level, because in season 2, I only saw a couple episodes, but she's revealed that she's part of Project Odessa, and there's only 2 surviving Project Odessa subjects, and it's Homelander and Marie. That's like kind of stupid to make her that powerful and that important and just sideline her for the finale.
And I get that she's not like a main character of the boys, so it's not like she should get the big final kill or anything. But let me ask you, don't you think, in my opinion, there were 2 in particular characters missing from that final fight? Obviously, it made total sense for Butcher and Ryan.
Yeah.
And I get why they needed Kimiko there. And after the Frenchie thing, it makes sense. Starlight should have been there, and Marie should have been there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Starlight was like killing the
She
Deep,
got
but
this stuff with the Deep. Well, she wasn't even killing the Deep. She went to go try and talk him, talk sense into him, which I don't mind. I actually like that it ended up being like the fish, although that was a problem too, because how did the fish even know about Ambrosia? Because how did anyone know about that?
That's true. They said that. They
Their
threw
whole
that line
thing-
in there.
They're like, say her name, Ambrosia. But like, wasn't their whole issue with him the pipeline? That had nothing to do with Ambrosia.
Eric Kripke said that like that was Ambrosia's cousin that skewered him. So maybe he was just like, oh, she's fucking the Deep and now she's dead. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but whatever.
I just wanted to bring that up since that moment came up. That also was like a weird plot thing. I didn't understand that. But
I agree.
Even if you say the thing with the Deep, which I think it made sense to have her character after everything, the whole, sexual assault and things like that.
Yeah.
It made sense for her character to be the one to kind of take care of the Deep, but then she doesn't come back. She's not part of that final fight.
And the fact that the Deep just it's so funny that he just refuses to have character development. Like, he literally screams no in her face is so funny. And I think it actually works. Like, we can complain.
No,
like,
that works.
These characters don't develop. But for the Deep, it's hilarious that he just screams in her face, no, take responsibility for your actions. No, and just gets killed. Like, that's it.
I don't know. Isn't it? I saw online, I don't know how true it is, that the last time Starlight and Homelander were in the same scene was like the end of season 3, or like season 4, when she goes on the live.
It was season 3.
That's season 3. She goes on the live, and like that's what saves her from Homelander killing her. And then that's it for the rest of the series. And that was like, for the first 3 seasons, a big point of contention is between them. And this toxic, relationship, obviously, like, it just feels, and obviously with the whole thing being Homelander versus Starlighters, it feels wild to me that she's just absent from this final fight.
That's a good point, because Homelander's second biggest op is Starlight. Like, it's Homelander versus Butcher, and then it's Homelander versus Starlight. And he fucking hates her, and she hates him. And yeah, I agree. I also think that there's so much of this, like, again, I like the first 2 or 3 episodes. I think they're good, but they ultimately lead to nothing, because the virus does nothing. Revealing that the plan Frenchie and Butcher had the whole time in like episode 7, or maybe 6, they reveal that they're planning on giving the chest blast to Kimiko.
Well, I think it was like their backup sort of plan.
But that should have been something that we were at least hinted at earlier, to just be like, oh, by the way, with 2 episodes left, Kimiko's the one who takes away his powers. I thought they were hyping up Soldier Boy this entire season, making him like the face of this season, because he was going to be the one to do it. But he does fucking nothing. And then it's Kimiko, which I'm glad she got to do something, but I would have liked some sort of hinting towards that happening at some point.
I think that all would work more if Frenchie was killed earlier in the season, and then we build up more of this like reason for Kimiko to be part of this final battle.
Yeah.
Because then we can see flashbacks of like Butcher and Frenchie working on this secret backup plan of theirs.
Yes.
And because I do think the way Frenchie goes out, he had a great ending in terms of like the dialogue they gave him. I don't think it made
your life.
Yeah. Even the whole scene with Sage before that.
Yeah.
But Homelander doesn't even really do anything to him. Like, Homelander literally squishes the president's head, and he finds out that Frenchie's trying to create, the power in Kimiko to be able to take away his powers.
Yeah, that
and
was
he
the
has
plot.
like a little, like, he's just like bleeding out a little bit.
What do you do? Like,
torso.
laser him a little bit, or like poke his finger in his stomach?
I didn't and that was obviously just so that Kimiko and Frenchie could have that final moment.
Of course.
Which was a great moment, but like, it didn't make sense for Homelander to not just fucking like rip his head off.
Why wouldn't he just laser him right in the face? Like,
right.
Especially since he's also like radiating Homelander.
Yeah, he turns on the radiate, and I was like, oh, that's like it really made me love Frenchie's character even more like this season. But
I thought maybe Homelander would trap him in there and be like, you're gonna fucking die slowly and painfully of radiation poisoning, and then when Kimiko gets there, he'd be dying.
Right. Yeah, that would make sense too. But instead, it was like he was wounded. But which is funny because like Frenchie was killing himself. Obviously, he was sacrificing himself to try and slow down or hurt Homelander. And then it didn't even matter that he did that because he's bleeding out from like a little wound. So it's like that didn't even matter either.
That's also an example of speed feat from Homelander. Frenchie taps, Homelander teleports to him. Like, that was cool. But again, the finale, Homelander is slower than Butcher's tentacles. Like, come on, dude.
Whatever happened to Butcher's lasers?
That was just the temp V.
Oh, right. But it's weird that the power like changed, right?
It's because it's like the cancer power, but I don't understand how that works.
They also retconned that whole thing in season 5 at the end of season 4.
I thought he was going to get cancer,
and then season 5 he's just okay again.
I thought he was gonna have cancer when the powers left him. I thought he was gonna die of cancer, and he doesn't. I did like his ending though. I like that he lies to Huey at the end. He's like, I would have done it either way, even though he wasn't gonna do it. Um, but I don't. Yeah, we're talking a lot of shit. I do like Butcher's ending, and I like a lot of the characters' endings. I just don't like how we got there, and
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like a final season.
It doesn't feel like a final season, and yeah, it was just really weak writing to set up Vought Rising, and a lot of the stuff didn't end up ultimately mattering, which sucks because the beginning of the season was really great to me. When the first episode came out, I told you I was like, this could be my favorite season. I fucking love that first episode. And then it just fell off real hard.
Like they spent a whole episode at Fort whatever it is. Fort Harmony, you know, trying to find the V1. And it's like the whole thing where they're like going, you know, it's the radiation, whatever, it's making them go crazy. They're trying to kill each other. Whole thing, in my opinion, was kind of stupid, actually. And then like Frenchie's, the only reason it's not affecting him is because he's fucking was a drug addict.
Yeah.
Stupid, in my opinion. But it's again a waste of an episode of a final season when you get 8 episodes.
Why did we get Starlight talking to her dad for the first time in the final season? You should have given that to us so much earlier. That's what she was doing during that episode. Like, that is such a great backstory, like, thing that we get to see about her. But why did we not already have that? Why are we learning about Firecracker's backstory with her church now instead, and then just to kill her that episode? Why don't we not already know that? Like, they're wasting time.
And to that effect, why is like a good portion of that episode from the fucking dog's perspective?
That was so and then they kill the fucking dog in the finale. How did he just die?
Well, didn't the dog die in real life?
Yes, but I mean, I don't know.
You didn't have to kill the dog.
Yeah.
Well, they killed the dog in the finale just to give Butcher a reason to decide to kill all the soups, which also doesn't make sense because it's not like a soup killed the dog. Like, he wasn't going to do that. He was just going to live a life with Ryan.
When he was watching Stan Edgar, Giancarlo Esposito on the TV saying, I'm becoming the CEO of Vought again, that should have been when he's like, oh, fuck, they're going to come back. You know, like, there's going to be another Homelander. Like, that should have been the moment.
I think the only thing that I'll say is because they're trying to be like, oh, Butcher's like alone. He doesn't even have his dog. Like, Butcher is truly unequivocally alone.
He's got Ryan. He just asked Ryan to run away with him.
But Ryan said no.
Oh, yeah, Ryan said fuck no.
So he doesn't. So Ryan instead goes with MM. Interesting.
Which again, they did not build that up. Like, they should have had like a father-son bonding moment between MM and Ryan in this season.
Yeah, it feels very random.
Ryan is in 2 episodes of the entire season. That is so stupid.
Yeah, he gets beat up by Homelander and then just comes back in the finale. And
he's in episode 3 and episode 8. What are you doing? Who's writing this shit?
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're spending like too much time on like Sage, who is a good character, and I liked her ending too, even. But she has all this. Yeah, you know, like, again, I agree with you. A lot of the characters have good endings, but it's the way they get there this season that doesn't feel very final. It doesn't feel very climactic. It doesn't feel climactic. It doesn't feel earned. And then you're just wasting time. Like, you know, Oh Father has such a big part in this season. I love Daveed Diggs, but he has such a big part in this season. Meanwhile, again, where's Ryan? So
his song was a banger, though.
It was awesome, dude. It was such a good song. Such a good song. I love Daveed Diggs. He's great.
Me too. He's so good.
You're a big Hamilton guy. I mean, you know.
He's fantastic. And yeah, you know, Ashley gets a decent ending, which was interesting. I'm surprised she survived. I could not believe she survived this whole season.
I don't mind it because someone has to suffer consequences. Like, I saw a debate online of like, should Homelander have been allowed to live? You know, like, was the moral thing to let him live to make him suffer the consequences? To which I say, if they let Homelander live, it would have felt like such an anticlimactic ending.
Butcher would never have allowed that.
Yeah, Butcher would never have allowed it.
It would have been like worse for him to live because just live without powers. But I don't think any of the characters would let him live after all the shit he's done. So it wouldn't make sense plot wise. But yeah, they spent so much time with characters that didn't matter, and I'm trying to think of just the stuff I like. I mean, the acting is always incredible. Anthony Starr is fantastic.
Yes.
Even like, I don't even remember her name, the Firecracker actress, what the episode
Valerie Curry.
Valerie Curry, the tear,
she was great.
They are good. I feel like MM didn't do anything this season, like especially in the finale. Like, what did he
Yeah,
do?
I mean, MM was in on a lot, but he was kind of just another part of the team. They really focused more on Frenchie than they did on
Which,
MM because they gave a lot for Frenchie, which was great.
and I'm surprised
But
MM survived because he's always been like the heart and soul, and I thought they were gonna take that away. Especially when he's like, I'm gonna die. Like his whole thing was like, I'm gonna die doing this, and he's like fine with
but
that.
I that's why I'm okay that he survived because I like I think it makes sense that Frenchie died and MM lived because Frenchie this whole season it was like, oh, like me and Kamiko, like we maybe don't or maybe like have different ways that we want to live our lives, like you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like there's the tragic. I think it's supposed to it's the flip side of each, like
Right.
Frenchie and Kamiko had each other, and then it's a tragic ending. MM thought he was doomed to never see his daughter and his wife again. He does surprisingly get to see him again. So I do think that dichotomy does work.
What do you think about Huey and Annie naming their kid Robin?
Yeah, people thought that that was stupid because it's his ex, but I thought it was actually a nice touch.
Don't know if she counts as an ex. Because they
Well,
never officially broke up, right? She's just like a dead girlfriend.
so like, yeah, I guess, I mean, all right. So like every relationship in the history of humanity ends in either breakup or death, right? That's just,
Right.
so it's like, if it's death, it's I guess like let's say you're married and then like let's say your husband or wife dies. I
You're
guess
just
they're
like a
not your
widow.
yeah. So but like what do you call it? Because it's not your ex, but you're not they're not still your wife.
It'd be weird for him to say like, "Oh, my late girlfriend," because she's not his girlfriend. I don't know. It's weird, but it is strange to call it her ex. Like, oh, he named his kid after his ex. It's not really an ex.
Regardless of the semantics, I didn't mind it as much as other people. I thought it was a good nod to the reason why he like did all this in the first place. And it's not like, you know, he's hung up on Robin, you know, he loves Annie, like they're together, they're having a kid. Like I thought it was a nice nod. I don't know. Otherwise it would have felt like the writers forgot about her in the same way that the writers forgot that he was a hardware electronics guy until the
Right
very
until the
end
last
because
episode,
he's
it's
like back to
the
doing
smoke
that.
alarm.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I saw a funny like Harry Potter meme that someone said. They were like Huey leaning up to his kid and being like, "I've named you after the most important people I ever met. Thank you, Robin A. Train Campbell." It's like when Harry names his kid like Albus Severus Dumbledore or whatever the fuck. So
Would
dumb.
Robin's middle name really be A Train though? Like
No, that'd be
really?
fun. I think. Imagine they named him as like Robin the Deep Campbell.
Robin Ambrosius Campbell.
I don't. That's this was a show, and it's not as bad as season 4. So my rankings of the boys' seasons are: season 3 is the best, then season 1, then season 2, season 5, season 4.
That's a good. I think this was my least favorite season.
Okay.
Let me go back. What did I even give the boys season 4?
Because I don't know, season 4 was just kind of nothing to me.
No, yeah, but so was this. Like other than
at
the
least I
fact that
loved the
ending.
first episode though.
I think that I think this has. I think the first episode's better than pretty much any of the episodes in season 4. But I think that the season as a whole is weaker. It just felt like a real wash to me.
So what's your ranking of the boys' seasons?
Probably low key, probably 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. I mean, 3 is really good too. I mean, it's close. I just think that first season. I think that first season really set a high bar for this show. It really was like at the time like such a counterculture way of looking at superheroes that the show kind of devolved. You know, now it's
totally
now it's become the same kind of interpretation of superheroes as any other thing, Marvel or other show, you know what I mean? Hell, they have the VCU now, which is what they're calling it, with Vault Rising, with the Boys Mexico spinoff, with, you know, I mean, Gen V, with whatever. So
it's too much, man.
Lost the plot a little bit. I don't care about this universe anymore. Like, I don't really intend to watch Vault Rising.
No,
I don't care.
We didn't watch Gen V season 2.
Right. I don't care.
If Vault Rising does something present day, maybe I'll look up a clip or like a YouTube video about it. But like, if they do Soldier Boy present day, because how dumb is that he does not get an ending? Like his ending is just locked in. Like maybe the government could go to Homelander's apartment and end credit scene and find that and be like, oh, Soldier Boy, like he's just in the apartment and
Yeah,
nobody's going in there for a
I
while.
agree. I mean, even he could have been a part of like that final scene too. You know, that final
Right.
battle. Like,
Like, he could have gotten fucking blasted by Kimiko or something. Or they could have blasted each
right.
other, see what happens with
I
that. I
was
don't know.
thinking, what would happen if they blasted each other? Would they just both lose their powers?
I guess.
Was it like a battery where just like
Before we finish off with the boys, let me ask you, do you think Butcher was right
about what?
about Soups at the end? Like, you need to get rid of Soups.
I mean, yes, but was it still the right thing for him to go and do what he was going to do? No. You know, like he is right. The world would probably be better off without any Soups because he is right. There could just be another Homelander.
And there probably will, especially with Edgar running
Right.
Vought again.
That doesn't mean it is okay to commit genocide. It's like the thing with Thanos, the age old, like, Thanos, good intentions, makes sense, not really right what he did, obviously, you know,
Yeah.
massacre, genocide. So obviously I don't support Butcher's idea of massacring all the Soups, but he probably was right. The world was probably better off without Soups, but Huey was just never going to let that happen.
I kind of wish we saw some good Soups every now and then. Like, throughout the whole series, they're just all pieces of shit and assholes. But, like, there's never, I mean, we got Starlight, Supersonic, and, like, that's it. Like, I can't even remember any other Soup that's, like, a good guy in this show.
Yeah, you have some that are like neutral, you know.
Yeah, but they're still,
bad.
like,
They're just
kind of bad people because they're just doing their job for, like, money or, like, whatever.
But that's that was the whole point of the boys in the first place, right?
I know, but you'd think some people would be good people. Like, they're, I mean, actors, like, they're making fun of Hollywood. Like, I'm sure most of them are assholes, but a decent amount of them are probably good people.
But they're also making fun of, like, they're making fun of that, but it's also, again, flipping the idea of what a superhero would be in the real world on its head. That was the point of the boys. In this case, it is all this power concentrated in an individual. They're not just going to be inherently good. It's going to create this conflict and flaws within them that you know, their identities are questioned. Like their what's the word I'm looking for? Just their the word's escaping me. But they're not good people. You know,
It makes me wonder why the boys never thought about recruiting other Soups, though, because there's a whole episode where Mal Chemical breathes on Homelander and knocks him fucking out cold. They don't know that guy exists. I mean, he's in movies and stuff. Mr. Marathon wants to kill Homelander. Mal Chemical wants to kill Homelander. You'd think Sister Sage
but
would
maybe
think of this
they
shit.
don't know
Bomb
that they
site.
want. Maybe they don't know. Well, the whole thing with bomb sites, no one knew where he was. It was off the grid.
I know, but they found him pretty quickly. Like he's strong. He's almost as strong as Homelander. Like they didn't think about.
They would have never found him without Sage, though.
Right,
and Sage didn't join the boys until the end.
And that's another thing. Her powers are so inconsistent. She doesn't think that the old Asian lady is wearing a Vought necklace. Like she doesn't notice that's a tracker. Like she knows Vought. Like dumb, whatever. That's how Homelander finds them.
Yeah, but I don't think she really had too many inconsistencies. I think that is one, but I don't think she had too many of those.
It was really that episode. She was just trusting Soldier Boy to take care of things.
Which I think was the point that the show was trying to drive, because it was supposed to be like, her whole thing is people are predictable, and then at the end, obviously, Soldier Boy gives the V1 to Homelander, and she's like, I'm wrong? So, like, I think that was the point, that her trust was finally misplaced.
I saw a clip where, in season 5, she's like, love is stupid, it's unpredictable. Like, she's like, I don't feel love. And then it goes back to season 4 where she says to somebody, she's like, yeah, I loved my grandma. I would see her every day. I loved her. She was my favorite person in the world. I loved her so much. And then everyone's like, what the fuck is it? Like, who wrote this? Like, again, it's
right, but again, that was, in that defense, like, that was when she was younger, right? So, I mean, maybe her perspective on it has changed as she's gotten older and wiser.
Maybe. But it sounded like her powers didn't work for love because she can't predict it, but like she knows about it. I don't know.
Well, I think that wasn't that her powers didn't work with it. It was that she felt that it was the one factor that she couldn't predict, because love is supposed to be that's the point in the season that the show is making, is that love can be unpredictable. It's not a tangible factor. And so that's why she, as she got older and more cynical, kind of didn't utilize love as any sort of guide for her.
She
but
loves
that doesn't
Taco
mean
Bell.
she couldn't. She does love those chalupas, dude. She
No,
really did fuck
Crunchwrap
with those.
Supreme. She said, "Fuck the chalupas."
Oh, right. It was the
They
Crunchwrap
brought her a
Supreme,
chalupa. She's like, "What the
and she
fuck
like
is this?" And she
chucked it.
throws it.
Yeah, you're right.
Chalupas are good though.
No, I don't really fuck with Taco Bell. Every time I try it, sometimes I get cravings, and I'm like, my stomach just does not fuck with it, dude.
I love it, man. So that's The Boys.
Yeah,
Season 5, it's over.
That is The Boys. I'll miss it, but the thing about missing a show is like in an age where we're constantly bombarded with other content, you just move on so quickly.
It'll be, and then we're gonna get it shoved down our throats with Vault Rising anyway. So,
but I'm not even gonna watch Vault Rising.
No, but every time I go on Amazon Prime Video, I'm gonna see it in my face.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. I don't even go on Amazon Prime Video that often. There's only like a few shows I watch on there consistently. Invincible, The Boys, and then Reacher. Like
that's probably it. Yeah.
I saw a show on there that got canceled, Night Sky, with J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek.
I never heard of it.
It was pretty good, but it got canceled after one season.
Yo, don't spoil your Seesaw, bro.
That was not my Seesaw, dude. I saw that like years ago or whatever. Something I saw recently, if by recently you mean 3 years ago.
You want to get into it?
I think. Sure. So, okay, let's do our Seesaw. You want me to go first, or?
Yeah, you could go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You owe me big time.
I'll get you back. Something I saw recently is a documentary called Ketty. It's this sweet little documentary. It's only 79 minutes. And basically it's a profile of the cats of Istanbul. I don't know if you even know about this, Jack, but in the city of Istanbul, cats basically live amongst people, and they walk the streets. They live on their own, and they are kept, they're taken care of by all the people. So they go to shops, people will feed them, this and that. And basically it was just this sweet little documentary that kind of, again, profiles these cats, what this is like, it's kind of like this cultural thing there. So cute, so adorable. I mean, honestly, I love it. I have a cat, so I mean, he wouldn't survive one day in the streets of Istanbul, but seeing these cats, I loved it. Like, it was just, there's nothing else. It's a cute documentary. It's worth the 79 minutes. A very easy watch. And something I want to see is the new Spider Noir show that I think just dropped on. Speaking of Amazon Prime, actually,
Did that come out?
I know it was like a late May release, so I'm pretty sure it's already out. I haven't gotten a chance to start it yet, but I'm very excited. I love Nick Cage. I love his take on Spider Noir in the Spider-Verse movies. I don't know if it's the exact same character of the ones in the movies, or if it's supposed to be like a variant, or because it's Amazon Prime, you know what I mean? So like,
It's different.
I don't know what the correlation is. It doesn't matter. It looks like it's a really cool detective show. I like that they're releasing it in a black and white and a color version. I'm going to watch the black and white version.
Me too.
Because that is just the tone of what Spider Noir is. So, looks fun. I'm very excited for it, and I'm going to start it soon.
Cool, man. Yeah, I feel like you got to watch the black and white version. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Something that I saw was the movie Swapped on Netflix. It is Michael B. Jordan's first movie after winning an Oscar. It's okay. It's pretty good. It's got some good animation, and it's got a crazy cool twist in it that is very unexpected. Sadly, it is the only thing I knew about this movie going in. It's literally been all over TikTok. I was like, what is this movie? Boom, see the twist. Boom, see the twist. Boom, see the twist. So that kind of sucks, but it's a good watch. I gave it like 3.5 stars. It's short. It's a fun time. It's a good kids animated movie. And something I want to see is Supergirl comes out very soon. And every time a trailer comes out for it, I'm starting to get less and less excited. I'm not loving what I'm seeing, and I'm nervous that I'm not going to enjoy the second movie in the DCU. So I'm going to read the Supergirl comic, and hopefully maybe that changes my mind. But I'm a little nervous, so I'm excited to see. Hopefully this movie is not what I expect. Hopefully it's way better. Hopefully it's Superman level. But I don't know. I'm a little wary of how it's going to be. I know you're giving
I don't think it's going to be Superman level. It could be good. I don't think it's going to be that good.
But I also think the second movie in the MCU was kind of trash too with the Incredible Hulk. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I had high hopes, and they're kind of dwindling.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't look that great. I'm gonna see it, of course. I don't have super high expectations. I don't think it's gonna. I think it'll be fine. I think it's gonna be okay.
I hope.
But I
I
don't
hope
think
at
I don't.
least.
I don't think it's going to be a great movie. I think it's going to be kind of a disappointing follow up to Superman, and I think that it's similar to the way I feel about Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I don't think people are going to talk about it that much. When you look at other movies coming out in June, Disclosure Day, Toy Story 5, things like it. I think it's just going to come and go. Like I
I
don't think
agree.
it's going to be a big thing.
Unless something crazy happens, like if they kill Crypto, or if like Superman shows up and
Ah,
does some crazy cool shit, maybe people will talk about it more.
maybe,
Or if
but
like
again,
Batman makes a cameo, like then
maybe that's no way that
Batman shows
happens.
up in
Like
space and fights
I
Jason
just
Momoa.
can't see Supergirl again being a big cultural phenomenon when you have a new Spielberg movie, a new Toy Story movie coming out in the same month.
Yeah,
So
and even if it is, it's immediately going to get outshined when in July when you have the Odyssey and Spider-Man.
then
So it's like
yeah,
it's in a
right.
tight spot already.
It's in a place where I just don't think um a ton of people are going to care about it, and even
Mhm.
like it's sandwiched between like its release date is sandwiched but like when you talk about box office between Toy Story 5 and Minions, two other big family movies that are surely going to do better. More people are
Mhm.
going to go take their kids to those. So Supergirl is going to lose out on that specific bracket of audience as well. So I just don't think people care that much about this movie. I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think it's going to come and go, but we'll see it.
Yeah, we'll definitely see it. We'll definitely be talking about it. All right. Thank you guys, everyone, for watching and listening and dealing with all our technical issues. But you know what? We're here and we're making these, and even though we go through the fucking struggles of it every time, we still love to make these. So we're very happy that anyone who's listening is listening, and we always have a good time doing it.
Yeah, please like and follow and, share all of our clips on our socials, with your friends, your fellow film lovers, we're out there. Comment Bible study numbers. Next week, Jack and I will be reviewing our 20th Bible study film. I believe it's our 20th. Kiss of the Spider Woman. So we will
Mm-hmm.
be reviewing that, not to be confused with any of the other super or spider stuff that we're talking about. It
Not to be
is
confused with
unrelated, but
Spider Noir. Kiss of the Spider
yeah.
Noir.
Kiss of the Nick Cage.
Yeah.
So we will be reviewing that next week, and shout out to our buddy Matt who just started his own page, Lur's Library. I posted that on our social stories today. A cool place that he's creating to cultivate literature, but also film and art and other stuff, conversations. We always love having him on the pod. He's a big supporter, so throwing the support back his way. Go follow Lur's Library on Instagram and I think soon to be TikTok.
Yeah.
And yeah,
LUHRS Library.
library. Yes.
And then follow us on all socials at Box Office Dynasty. Follow at Lur's Library. And we love you guys.
See you next week, folks.